Hello everyone, I'm Mr. Benedict Wong from Sibu Education Department, State of Sarawak, East Malaysia. To all doctors, professors, associate professors, ladies and gentlemen, blessed day to you all. I would like to share my research about the psychological impact on education home-based learning in Sibu per se due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The world had been shaken by the outburst of COVID-19 pandemic in the early of year 2020. According to TESA, the COVID-19 pandemic has greatly affected education, including the drastic change from face-to-face teaching and learning to a new norm, online education. Millions of students globally were forced to fully utilize their digital tools and start home learning via online. However, there were limitations pertaining to online teaching and home-based learning. At the end of December 2020, the Ministry of Education in Malaysia had a survey to 670,000 parents and 900,000 students, which show that only 6% of students have personal computers, 5.76% tablets, 9% laptops, 46% smartphones, while 36.9% of students do not have devices. In addition to that, there were a few challenges of online home-based teaching and learning. We couldn't assume the internet connection is superb for everyone. Not all enjoy unlimited internet access. The Malaysian Communications and Multimedia Commission also stated that there is a sizable disparity between urban and rural internet users. For those in applied sciences in particular, it will be even harder for educators to teach since they cannot use the tools in the laboratories. Moving classes online will also pose assessment hurdles. Although a lot of assignments can be completed at home, the risk of cheating is high, especially when they cannot be monitored in person. Another challenge is students' participation. Not all students give fully cooperation during e-learning. They might just turn off their videos and mute the microphone. Therefore, educators don't really know whether their students really participating in the lesson. Not all students or educators are technologically savvy, so the home-based teaching and learning will pose negative psychological impact. Educators should be able to modify their pedagogical approach. Some parents and even public gave pressure on educators too. Educators were blamed for not efficient enough and being cynical. With that, a research had been done after a year of the pandemic to see the progress of the psychological impact. For this research, questionnaire was used. The survey questionnaire was conducted with a total of 793 respondents, distributed online, through random sampling. The respondents were of urban and rural schools in Sibu to compare the psychological gap. The findings of this research is shocking. There is no significant negative impact on educators in Sibu per se due to the COVID-19 pandemic. 10 categories of questions were administered. The first one, easily angry. Only 4.3% always and 15.3% often felt angry due to the effect. It shows educators could control the angerness well. For easily tense, 6.4% is always and 19.7% often, which shows educators will still can cope with the pressure. As for declining in working momentum, only 8.5% felt their momentum was going down, while 91.5% educators shows high momentum. With all the challenges, undoubtful, each one will give up easily. But only 7.9% show sign of giving up. Under prediction, going through all the home-based teaching and learning, educators would be restless. Surprisingly, only 9.9% educators felt so. Dealing with all challenges, it surely triggers our emotions. But the findings show that also 9.9% educators have unstable emotions. The drastic changes to extensive usage of technology would surely increase the techno stress among educators. It's true, relatively to other categories, the impact is higher a bit. 15.3% show techno stress, but it is still quite low, not exceeding 16%. As educators face the uncertain education via online, it could affect the self-esteem. Surveys show 25.3% had this feeling. As for losing of eating appetite, only 5.1% educators felt so. Last but not least, only 9.4% of educators have confusion of mind due to all this home-based teaching and learning during this COVID-19 pandemic. From the pie chart, we can see the comparison of psychological impact between the urban and rural educators. The urban educators had 44.5%, while the rural educators had 55.5% out of the overall 12.35% for always and often. It shows that there is no significant difference between these two, urban and rural educators. After a year of the pandemic, we could see the changes toward more positivity on the educators. There are a few aspects scaffolding in this matter. The Malaysian government plays a vital role in helping educators to overcome all the challenges. The Malaysian government is bringing all-day educational television to help students with no access to online home-based learning. The launching of Benedict TV really helps a lot. There are 17 hours of educational content aired on Benedict TV. This effort is taken after Malaysian statistics shows that 95% of Malaysian households have a television set. Besides that, the Malaysian Commissions and Multimedia (MCMC) had provided the free internet data since April 2020. It was a special effort for students, educators, and parents with additional 1 GB data or 30 GB per month. In addition, MCMC have been assisted and supported by telecommunication companies such as Celcom, Digi, Maxis, U-Mobile, and Telecom. The Malaysia Education Ministry had also released a guide on scheduling teaching and learning from home structurally. It also meant to help educators create a parent-friendly, home-based environment so that parents can provide ongoing support in home-based teaching and learning activities. The Malaysia Ministry of Education also issued teaching and learning guidelines to implement during the MCO, including the MPEDL learning program, which provides a link to specific learning platforms such as Google Classroom and Microsoft Teams. The platforms offers application and services to educators and students for digital learning. It gave the educators to opt for Google Classroom to create classes, distribute assignments, and communicate with students. To avoid the challenges of internet problems, educators adopted a hybrid learning approach, using combination of apps to distribute homework and activities. Therefore, besides the online such as Google Classroom, usage of WhatsApp and Telegram were also widely used. iTrend, a leading Google for Education partner in Asia Pacific, had joined the Ministry of Education and Google Malaysia to equip Malaysian educators with the knowledge and skills to conduct virtual classes for more than 6 million students affected by the MCO. ICTEL conducted series of webinars to encourage local educators to familiarize themselves with digital teaching and learning practices to keep themselves progress on track. Among the few comprehensive webinars for educators were skills on Google tools such as Google Classroom, Drive, Calendar, and Hangouts, enabling them to run online classes efficiently. In addition to these applications, other long-distance learning platforms were also used, for instance, Zoom and Skype. The Sarawak Teachers Union (STU) and other trade unions in the National Congress of Union of Employees in the Public and Civil Services (QPECS) had contributed to the COVID-19 fund in Sarawak. This contribution was made to support the Sarawak government in taking and implementing preventive measures during the pandemic. In addition to all these efforts, educators, especially in Sibu per se, has a splendid culture of doing professional learning community. The more knowledgeable educators will share their expertise to other educators and they make research out of every challenges. With this, they could see the positive impact which decrease the negative psychological impact on educators due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Therefore, ladies and gentlemen, each one of us plays important role to overcome every challenges, especially in the pandemic period. Be happy and laugh all through your day, as it is best medicine. That's all from me. God bless. Thank you.